Yield for bikers. The objects in the mirror are closer than they appear. Road work ahead, boy. Left turn only. Dead end. No outlet. I feel like I'm getting the depth of the voice right, but I keep on wanting to do the accent wrong, and I'm not sure why that is. The road ends here. All right, welcome back. I'm Eric Kane. When I'm not busy doing bad impressions, I am trying to make more videos. I found an interesting thing. I'm just pulling that up right now. Now, there's been a couple pieces of news. Well, the one piece of news, which is that Bernard Hill, the phenomenal actor who plays Théoden in the original Lord of the Rings trilogy, the King of the Rohirrim, has come out and said quite bluntly that he is not a fan of the Rings of Power. He was talking to Metro, and they asked if he'd watched the series, and he said, no, not interested. It's a money-making venture, and I'm not interested in watching that or being in it. Good luck to them and all that stuff, but it's not like the real thing. Not like the real thing, baby. Good for him. I mean, it's a money-making venture. I don't even know if it is a money-making venture, because I think it's more about ego than about money. He asked if he believes that the franchise would be better off ending after the original trilogy. He said, completely, yes. I think they were pushing it when they made The Hobbit. The Hobbit's a tiny book. It is a tiny book. And they made a huge trilogy out of it, which was, honestly, just sacrilegious, if you ask me. I actually thought that the Hobbit trilogy started out pretty good. I still love the scene when Thorin and all his dwarves show up and they sing, the Misty Mountains, oh, that song. And I thought that it's some great casting. I really think that Thorin Oakenshield was actually really well done. But man, they should have made it one movie. One movie. And moved on. But no, 3. He goes on to say, they did it well. They did it really, really well. They expanded it, but I think you can only stretch a piece of elastic so far. I think they managed it in The Hobbit because there were some really good things in it, in The Hobbit, without a doubt. Now, he's backpedaling a little bit there. But I think he was getting at his distaste for that. And then, just the idea that the Rings of Power is just a money-making venture. I think that's really, really crucial. And you're stretching the piece of elastic only so far, like butter scraped over too much bread, right? I think it's just so crucial to understanding what's wrong. It's not just that these were talentless hacks put in charge of this, although that's part of it. It's also that, there is a limit to what we can do with Tolkien's work. And partly this is the greedy corporations who are getting the licenses for this work and turning it into everything under the sun, and some of which is good. There's been some good. I think the MMO is actually surprisingly good. I think there's been some good tabletop RPGs made out of it, and clearly the Jackson trilogy was about as good of a film adaptation as you could hope for. I still hope for the animated miniseries version, or like a BBC version. Not all big and fancy with great graphics or anything, but just something that's modest and humble as a Hobbit, but true to the source material. That's another video for another day. Anyways, I just think you can only go so far. You can only publish so many books. You can only, the Tolkien estate is as guilty of this as anybody, if not more so, of just kind of how much can we dip into Tolkien's notes, works, and republish, and we're not talking about a new calendar every year, just everything. So, on that note, the other interesting thing I found, and this is not newsworthy because it's not news, it's more in the realm of rumor, hearsay, or possibly even bullshit, But I found on one of the Rings of Power, there's multiple Rings of Power subreddits. I found on one of them this post from 12 days ago where someone says Colbert doesn't like Rings of Power. Now, of course, Stephen Colbert was a big, he pushed the show pretty big. He was at Comic-Con. He hosted the Comic-Con panel. He's talked to some of the actors and creators of it. He jokingly asked to be cast in it, and they did a whole bit there. And he is one of, if not the biggest Tolkien nerd out there in Hollywood right now. And really he's a big Tolkien nerd, like pure and simple. Like he's obsessed with Tolkien and knows more about it than I will ever know about Tolkien, or more than pretty much anyone watching this or anyone who makes content about Tolkien. He's huge on Tolkien, right? So I was immediately drawn to this post. Was there some video or article that Colbert came out publicly and said something about Rings of Power? Well, no, unfortunately. So I'll just read this to you. Stephen Colbert is an infamous Tolkien fan. I think it's more like famous, but fan of the Peter Jackson films. He seemed excited for the Rings of Power show and even interviewed Morpeth, on The Late Show before the Rings of Power premiere, but he's been silent ever since. Now, that's true. We have not heard hide nor hair from Colbert. I did not mean to rhyme that, but we haven't heard from him at all on this. You'd think that if he really loved it, he'd be having all the actors on, he'd be doing a big old thing with it, but nothing. So, I attended a live taping of his show last week, this Redditor says, and during his audience Q&A, someone asked his opinion on Rings of Power. Here is his response paraphrased from memory. Guest, what's your hot take? Stephen interrupts. I don't have hot takes, but go on. Sounds like him. Guest, what's your opinion on the Amazon Lord of the Rings show? Stephen, it's very much a Jeff Bezos adaptation and not a Tolkien adaptation. I didn't finish it. It committed the cardinal sin. It bored me. Next question. If someone's making this up, which is entirely possible, if someone's making it up, that is a pretty good Colbert impression. That seems very authentic to how he speaks. I wish he'd come out and say it. I don't know if he has some deal, since he's been publicly involved, where he can't say that on a live recording, or he can't, write an op-ed and some, New York Times or something. But yeah, it was in a Q&A, which don't usually get published. When somebody asked this Redditor, about what evidence he has, he says, here's the best I can do. It was taped on Thursday, where Colbert did an interview with John Krasinski from The Office that won't air for a few weeks. They had to do that interview ahead of time to accommodate Krasinski's schedule. Part of that interview was a skit where they arm wrestled. I mean, all this proves is that I went to a taping, though. For super obvious reasons, they don't let you take out your phone and record Colbert's Q&A for any other part of the show. So take that for what you will. Obviously this does not prove a damn thing. It does not prove it could be total made up nonsense. But I think what's telling, even aside from all of this, is that Colbert hasn't, beaten the fan drum in any way for this show. A lot of other, questionably ethical Tolkien aficionados have done just that. They've maintained their praise and their gushing adoration for this goddamn monstrosity of a show, which just says to me that they're bought and paid hook, line, and sinker from Amazon. Because if you're an actual Tolkien expert, you must take issue with the liberties they took in this show. If you just are someone who wants a good television show and it has nothing to do with Lord of the Rings, you'd still have to be a fucking paid shill to like this crap. It's so bad. I mean, the offense to the lore is one thing, but the offense to just the love of narrative and of storytelling and of cinematography and of filmmaking, and script writing, it's all just so bad. Again, the only good thing that came from this show, other than all you fine folk who subscribe to my YouTube channel, and I really appreciate that, and maybe there's some newcomers who would like to subscribe. No, I'm just kidding. But yes, please do. The only good thing was the Gandalf roast videos. Man, those were great. There's a new one out, actually. I should point out, he's done episode 2 now, so look up Gandalf roast episode 2. I still have to watch it. I'm going to go do that when I'm done with this video, actually. Thank you, Eric, for reminding me. Oh, you're very welcome, Eric. I'm gonna go watch that. In fact, I'm gonna stop making this video right now so that I can watch it while I'm editing this video right now. So, yeah, thanks for watching. Peace. I drive how the gods have made me. Boy, officer, sorry, whoever you are.